Greetings and welcome. Welcome back to my regular viewers, and if you're new, then welcome too. Right, last vlog I mentioned about home Pier Point and where Bob Nudd became third-time world champion. Fantastic. And unfortunately, that was the last that Kevin Ashes ever fished in the World Championships. Now this year, it was in Finland, in a place called LAPPEENRANTA, 1995. Now, this match in Finland probably saw one of the hardest matches for a number of years. You know, with a large shipping canal, you know, which carved its way through the countryside. You know, it's quite a impressive canal. And in general, when we were fishing, I would say, you know, it was quite poor. You know, if you imagine, it was mostly very clear, very deep, and of course ships coming through from the sea. And for most part, you know, all we could catch was small perch and some skimmers. I think, and mainly they were all on the pole line, you know, just over the ledge in about 6 meters. Like there was a 6 meter ledge. And I say that, you know, the canal was very deep, you know, and very deep in the middle. So, you know, you couldn't really go further out than about 6 meters because it just dropped off to nothing almost. But anyway, as I said, the water was so clear that, you know, you could actually drink from the water. You know, it was so crystal clear. But however, it did have a very rocky bottom. And as I said, we learned the method of wrapping our plummets up in sponge, you know, when we plumb the depth, obviously to get the depth. As I say, when it comes to the practice, well, let me tell you what happened basically. Yeah, when we arrived at Finland initially with all the boys, I don't know whether it was Doug was getting a bit disillusioned, but it seemed to be a little bit of a, I don't know, a bit of a fun sort of holiday sort of mood. You know, we weren't in the mood to win anything by the feel of it. You know, obviously we still tried our best, but if you can imagine now, Finland being the furthest country north, you know, that we've ever fished, and it was most strange to actually see daylight almost all the day and night. You know, it never really went dark. You know whether this had a bearing on the fishing, I wasn't sure. But anyway, as I said, in practice we noticed the top teams all doing it again, all the bloodworm teams, you know, France, Italy, Belgium, you know. It was, you know, it was very daunting really for us, and I think the lads more or less almost give up, you know, before they even tried. I tell you for why, because we booked in, I don't know whose advice it was, but we booked into a hotel, and in the hotel there was like a disco, and it was going on like all night because, you know, as I said, it never really got dark, and it was constant. Now, being a young Welsh team, you can imagine, you know, they were finding themselves, you know, in the bar. And you know, enjoying the nightlife, you know, more than they probably should have. And of course, with the music blaring into the, you know, 24 hours, it was quite hard really to get to sleep most times. You know, it was a very luxurious hotel. It was a 5-star, as I said, with a massive nightclub. And as I said, the noise did keep us awake throughout the night. Therefore, you know, most of the team they all found their way to the dance floor during the early mornings, and you know, I suppose I follow suit. You know, I don't know why. It was just, you know, I think it was, as I mentioned, the fact that the fishing was very, very hard. So, you know, to amuse ourselves, I think that's what we done. We basically, you know, enjoyed ourselves while we were there. But it was a great country. I've got to admit, it's very clean. You know. Well, it was then, I don't know now, but anyway. Yeah, so it was there as well. Well, as I said, the female variety of human beings, young women, they were absolutely gorgeous. I mean, blonde hair, blue eyes, and I got quite friendly with one. Her name was Pia Cantona, and she became a little bit of a fan. In fact, when we used to practice, she would quite often sit behind me, practicing. So, yeah. I shouldn't have been doing that, of course, because I had a young lady back home, but, I was single anyway. One thing led to another, and anyway, she actually, she was a fitness instructor and wanted to come to the UK to live. Unfortunately, as I said, when I went back to the UK, I didn't really keep in contact with her. But anyway, due to the proceedings of the evening and so forth, the fishing was almost a secondary thing for the Welsh team, which is a sad thing to say, but I also think at the time, I think Doug was more or less giving himself up, because he, as I said, as mentioned before, I think he was laying plans for his own future to be, to actually fish in the team. But more about that on the next vlog. But more coming back to the match now. Yeah, as I said, come the match, it was really hard. I think ounces. I think all our team weighed in ounces, and even the England team struggled. And basically, we were well off the pace. But it was good to see the fact that all the Bloodworm teams doing well. The individual result was won by a French guy named Jean, Belgium guy Wilmart, he came second, and an up-and-coming French chap named Desk. He was third. He had a bronze medal. Of course, the team results was France. They won it with just 23 points. Belgium 45 points, and Italy 59 points. I'll put the results on the end anyway, so that you can see. But as I say, it was a pretty dire affair for us and the England team and the other home teams, because again, it was a sort of venue that really suited the Bloodworm. And as I said, in those days, Bloodworm was king. And it suited them more than it did us, I would say. Anyway, back home, my business was going from strength to strength, and as I say, after a disappointing World Championships, I did decide to concentrate on my business. I suppose, in a way, I was getting a little bit fed up with the way the team was going and so on. So basically, I concentrated more on my business in Evesham. As I said, I was fishing a lot of local matches, and running a guest house, and also running a shop at Twyford Farm. And to be honest, it was happy days, very happy days. Winning a few matches along the way. I also fished it was the Dick Derrington matches then, invitation matches. And I was winning a few, leading up to that, but I never actually done any good in the Dick Derrington match. But as I said, there was only a stone's throw away from the cottage, and as I said, unfortunately, I think at that stage as well, Dick Derrington, because I wasn't in the limelight like I had been for a few years, I had to qualify, for the events, and I, I managed to qualify, and I think, the anglers who do get invited usually have to be in the limelight, writing magazines or some sort of celebrity. Unfortunately, as I said, I dropped out of favour at the time, but even so, it was great fun, Now, it was during one bank holiday, John Smith, I had the privilege of hosting the Dutch international team. They all come to stay with me in the cottage, in the guest house, and using the trailer, the static caravan in the courtyard. I put them up, and they were really looking forward to fishing the team event on the John Smiths. And anyway, I knew most of the Dutch team from the previous World Championships, and getting to know the team was great. As a personal level, it was inspiring for me, and learning from these great anglers, about their bloodroom tactics and ground baiting. It was stimulating, and I enjoy having a few drinks with them. And anyway, the night before the weekend, as I said, we all returned. We all had a drink, and we all returned to go to sleep. And then the most devastating thing in my life has ever happened. Come back now, and I'll tell you all about it. Yeah. So anyway, as I said, I was enjoying myself with with the Dutch team, getting to know them, having a few pints, going to bed that evening, and anyway, woke up in the morning, disaster. Couldn't believe it. I opened the garage where all the fishing tackle were kept, and to my shock and horror, everything had been gone, stolen. I just stood there, frozen, looking. Everything, even my tackle. It was an empty floor space. I was stunned into silence. And I relive in that moment now. It was heart-rending, because the thieves had broken into the side of the door during the night, and they stole all the fishing tackle, including mine, and nobody heard a thing, not a thing. It was estimated that each Dutch angler had about 12 to 20,000 pounds worth of poles and fishing rods. There were 6 anglers in total, so that must have been over 120,000 pounds worth of fishing tackle stolen. I thought Evesham was a nice place, which it was for the first year I was there, first year or so. But anyway, after a frantic plea to the organisers for some assistance, to help the Dutch team fish that weekend, the Dutch team decided, no, they had to abandon it and go back to Holland, because there was going to be a World Championships coming up shortly, and it was sad, really. Losing your tackle. It happened to me many years ago when I was young. Somebody broke into my camp, and I know the feeling. It's a terrible, terrible situation. Because when you have your tackle stolen, you've got bits and pieces that you get used to, that you built up over the years. For it to go like that, it was absolutely devastating. Yeah, so I know they said they'd claim off their insurance and so on, and a lot of them were sponsored anyway. But even so, with the imminent championships not that far away, it must have been quite hard for them to regather their fishing tackle. We did put pleas out in the angling press and in the local news, and even on the national news. It was reported, but nothing was ever heard, or nothing was retrieved. Even the police, nothing at all. It's done by obviously professionals who've probably been casing it up for a while. But there you are. That was it. So with the Dutch team popping off back, me, I managed to borrow some tackle that weekend and fished. My mind wasn't there. So as you can see, 1995 wasn't a very good year for me. Anyway, it's even better to come yet, or I should say worse. 1996. Garda, Italy. That was going to be the year that really changed and upset the apple cart for the Welsh team. More about that on the next vlog. All I can say up until now, my life has been quite good. The worst is to come. Come back and join me and I'll tell you.